Woohoo! Right, so I'm live. I'm live on YouTube, Xiaohongshu, and Weixin Shiping. No TikTok today. I'm going to try Xiaohongshu, see how far I get. Xiaohongshu usually cuts me if I speak too much English, but we'll see. So recently, I've been getting a lot more Chinese companies approaching me saying, "Can you help in the US, Canada, UK, Europe, Australia? Can you help?" And the biggest issue I have right now is I'd say Chinese companies, they want to do business in the West. It's a bit like overseas companies wanting to do business in China, but they just want the introductions or they just want to work on commission. And that's not what I do, right? I make it very clear to companies, if you want to work with me, it's either a service fee or retainer, upfront payment. I don't work on sales. I don't work on that kind of setup unless it's, service fee and sales, which is even better, right? You always want to get some commissions. But I make it very clear to companies, say, right, if you want to work with me, give me a brief, right? Give me a one-page template of what you want, right? If you want a piece of China, I say this to overseas companies, right? Fill in some information. Tell me what you're looking for, your KPIs, your budget. Your budget is the biggest question a lot of companies like to avoid. And let's have a chat. But I still find companies getting the basics wrong, right? They can't just tell me, right, Daniel, this is what we're looking for. This is what we're looking to achieve in the next 12 months. This is what success looks like in the next 12 months. KPIs, budget. So Western companies, I find last year, they weren't as good with that. Now Western companies are getting better with being upfront on a brief. So if anyone ever wants to work with me, just give me a one pager, a one page. You can use AI to write this, right? A one pager on what you're looking to achieve. What's your budget? What's your KPIs? And I'll give you a really good example. I had a guy this morning who, I'm not going to name his name, but we had so many messages back and forth. And if he just said exactly what he was looking for, and what his social medias he had, like, it would have saved us both so much time. I think my Xiaohongshu might get cut. So annoying. Anyway, and yeah, I just need to make it very clear to companies, if you want to work with me, like, you need to be upfront. Like, this is the brief, right? Here's a one page brief on what you're looking for. And it saves everyone so much time. We'll get more stuff done, right? If you kind of go down that route. So something to be aware of when you do business with people is always just be upfront. Who's this? Yeah, I am. I'm quite funny, actually. Thank you. So, so the way to do business is be very upfront. Oh, it's fine. I don't care. Call me what you want. Don't get angry with each other. Love each other. I know I don't want to see anyone arguing or fighting in the comments. I want you guys to just love each other. Ichi ai. 有多少爱可以重来? So it's a good tip. Like I said, I'm getting a lot more inquiries now for Chinese companies going overseas and Western companies, overseas companies coming to China. All of a sudden, literally in the last week, there seems to be an interest. I know Chinese New Year will maybe change things for. I always pull my hair back, not out of nervousness, but I'm always quite self-conscious my hair, mainly because it's falling out. But I'm getting a lot more inquiries now through my WeChat. So my live stream has actually given me some clients. LinkedIn, TikTok now. So there's quite a few channels going, which is good to see. So guys, if anyone's got any questions about that, you've got any business sticking points, I'm pretty good with this kind of stuff now. Like, what should you do in certain situations? How should you go about, how should you approach doing business with foreigners or doing business with Chinese if you're a foreigner. I know the way to approach things. So yeah, keep the questions coming, guys. And yeah, there's a lot, I'd say, a lot of Chinese overseas companies looking to do business abroad, but the issue they have, a bit like a Western company coming to China, is you have to localize. You have to work with local partners. Like if you want to do business in the UK, you've got to work with someone like me. You can't do everything just with a Chinese team. And that's not to say a Chinese team is not talented. It's just if a Western company comes to China, I say you need to get a local team. You need to get a Chinese team. You can't do everything by yourself. So I'd say that's one of the biggest sticking points I get. The companies don't want to pay for that consultancy piece up front, and you need to pay experts. Or I don't classify myself as an expert. I don't really like that word. I liked what CGTN called me the other week was a China hand. I quite like that phrase. So yeah, if you are a Chinese company going abroad, pay someone a retainer, pay someone like me to help you, like a few thousand a month. And not renminbi, by the way. That's not renminbi. And yeah, because I'm the kind of person that I tell you what, I'm speaking to some companies right now that are approaching me on this kind of stuff. There are companies out there. You just need to find. I've actually found Alistair. I found one through this live stream that we've been discussing some things. So there are companies out there. You just need to kind of get yourself out there. That's the thing. That's why I'm always posting something every day. Someone asked me that the other day. Why do you post every day? Because I have a client right now that he only checks his LinkedIn on a Saturday, like 8 to 8:30. And if you don't happen to get him that day, you're just never gonna. So I always think about that. I always think about get something up every day, churn that algorithm. Good morning. It's the evening here in China, and just get some stuff going. Right now. Now WeChat makes sense. There's like nearly 200 people in this live stream. YouTube, I've got barely nowhere. I've got 178,000 fans, right? 17万的粉丝. Wait, 17万的粉, yeah. 17个, like 17万个粉丝在小红书. And right now it says there's 10 people in there. That just makes no sense. Yeah, that's the thing. For me now, if companies want to jump on a call with me, if they start picking my brain on things, I'll say, sure, if we want to get in like more deeper conversations, you're gonna have to pay me. Because I had a referral yesterday, a lady, because I'm quite well experienced with email marketing. I'm quite good with, I know how to kind of get decision makers from email marketing. And I had someone approach me about that, but I know what they're going to do. They're going to pick my brain and then just steal the stuff. So I'm very upfront now with, it's money up front. It's if you want to have almost like a lawyer. If you were to sit down with a lawyer wouldn't just give you a load of free legal advice, would they? They would charge by the hour. So that's kind of the way I do things. But there are Chinese companies out there willing to pay. They're the good ones, right? The Chinese companies that are willing to pay, that want to localize to go to the UK or some other foreign country. There are good companies out there doing that. The bad companies just want to do everything cheap and don't want to pay, right? So I have come across some in China, the good ones. And it's the same with the West. So I get a lot of time wasters. Yeah, I don't do free consultation. Unless I know they're really qualified. If I knew a company has budget and they just want to have a chat with me and get to know me, suss me out, even though if you really want to find me in Shanghai, it's not hard. And I'm all over social media. I don't mind doing something like that. But once they start getting into details or can you make introductions? Well, I can, but you're going to have to start paying me. So yeah, a lot more upfront this year. I've already changed my business tact this year because I wasted so much time last year meeting people for coffees who just picked my brain, pretty much took my ideas and stole them. And if you're asking me questions like, am I in Shanghai? If you're a fan, you should know that. You should know where I am. You should know that from the content. So yeah, it's been quite interesting recently. I've had quite a few offers from different companies and more Chinese companies. And it seems to be the Chinese companies I'm speaking to now have finally woken up that if they want a top guy on the ground, that they're going to have to work with someone like me. So, speaking of which, I'm doing a bit of work now, getting a little bit of stuff going. But yeah, guys, keep the questions coming. I do like a little question. I've always get some profound questions in here. And a lot of Guangzhou, a lot of people following. This is why I love WeChat. WeChat is just absolutely crushing it right now on social media. Every time I do these live streams on WeChat, I'll get a few hundred fans. I'm loving the algorithm on there, but I don't know what's going on with the other platforms right now. They need to step up the gear. And then Dianzan, I love the Dianzan. Oh. Keep the questions coming, guys. But yeah, Alistair, I mean, they should be paid. I mean, I was thinking about this today. That guys like you, they're British and European and Chinese companies, they should all have you on retainer. You know, the connections you could make to them, and this thing companies just don't know. That's the thing, they don't know about you, which is always a bit frustrating, right? To know that you got experts out there that you know, proper China experts, not the ones that live outside of China. That is the funny thing about the quote unquote experts in China, the foreigners, the Laowai that call themselves experts. Most of them don't actually live in China. They're not like me, actually on the ground seeing things every day. Interesting story today, actually, though, guys. I broke up a fight. There was a fight that I broke up in a very diplomatic. I don't usually get involved with fights and things like that, but there was one of those traffic ticket guys, parking ticket guys, and I don't know what they were arguing about, but it was a guy they were arguing, they were pushing each other, and I just said, "Look, guys, just stop it. So I did that today. Bit of Good Samaritan stuff. Although I wouldn't do that in London, because I feel like in London someone would pull a knife or something, and you'd have to be really careful. But in China, it's super safe. I've never had any issues here, really, from Chinese people. I've definitely had issues from foreigners. Right? If you ask me, if you say, "Are you in Shanghai?" It's not a great question to ask me because it shows that you don't really care about my content. You haven't watched the videos. That makes me think. And also, if you look at the title of this live stream, I think I clearly say I'm in Shanghai. So you've got to pay attention. I'm not being strict. It's just if I watch someone's live, if I was watching, let's say I was watching Mr. Beast or Alex Hormozy or Liu Dehua do a Zhibo, I'm not going to ask him where is he. I'm going to ask him what inspired him to do something. That's the sort of questions I'd be asking. So think about that, guys. Think about, what would you ask someone who, who was kind of inspiring, right? So if I ever met Michael Jackson or Prince or George Michael, I wouldn't be asking them, "Where are you?" I'd be asking them, "Hey guys, what inspired you to write this music?" And what year was your John? Who is more famous? Well, it's not a competition, is it, about Bruce Lee or Liu Dehua? But I might sneeze. That was Alicia Longda Penty. There we go. But these live streams are definitely increasing in engagement algorithm, and it's helping my videos because I posted this video last night about washing up, which was kind of funny. It was like a Shiwan. I hope you guys have seen that, by the way. Shiwan, and do I block? That's a good. There we go. Is there an app for me? That's a good question. Is there an app for me to get connected with expats in a small city like Shanghai? So there isn't. Well, you've got Smart Shanghai, haven't you? You've got the that platform, but I would say get out to some events. You've got. I'm just gonna block this person. You get some weird people sometimes. So. Oh no! I thought I'd block them. So yeah, I mean the events are not boring. There's if you see my live stream from last night, did I talk about that one last night or the night before? I talked about the chamber events, and there are some really good events in Shanghai that have foreigners and Chinese. So no, the events I wouldn't say they're boring. It's just you got to pick and choose the right ones to go to. You've got to be very strategic in the way you go about going to events. But yeah, I would recommend in Shanghai, I'd recommend on a Friday morning, 8 a.m., you've got the founders breakfast. Chamber events, anything that is British chamber, Australian chamber is usually pretty good. Like social, I'd say more than getting business. Do you think British are Europeans? I mean, we're a part of Europe, not the EU, but we're a part of the continent. So yeah, we are. Have you been to? I don't know what that is. Little St James. I don't know what that is. Do tell me. I'm not quite sure what that means. Ah, ha 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 ha. Don't criticize each other. Love each other. Do not criticize each other. Just love each other. What are you doing in China? So Kiki, I've already answered this question many times. I recommend you go back to my previous live streams and watch them in full because you'll gain a lot. I've saved all the live streams I've done recently. I would say Shanghai is boring. It's just you're probably at a different time of your life right now. I'm not sure how old you are, but Shanghai's changed. You know, in the sense of I'm sure your life has changed, right? So you're not. You've probably not as. But there are some not as you're not going out all the time, things like that. But there are. I will say this, guys. There are some good events here happening in Shanghai, and I usually post about them I usually tell if you're connected with me on Pangyochuan on WeChat. But yeah, British culture is different. Well, I mean, Europe is made up of different countries, and you can even break it down locally. So, in my hometown in England, we're very different to the next town, the next village along. You know, there's always rivalries and so yeah, it's all local when it comes to differences in culture. It's not just it's country by country, it's province by province, it's town by town. Yeah, I mean, look at Shanghai, like even parts of Shanghai, Minhang is very different to Huangpu, right? So it's just